One of the worst battles of World War II was fought on the island of Iwo Jima. Clint Eastwood's movie, Letters from Iwo Jima, tells the story of the Japanese soldiers.
When I went to Iwo Jima the first time, I stood on the beach and I was very, very moved about being on the beach where all those Marines would come ashore, much like you would be at Normandy here. And it's very, very moving feeling. But then all of a sudden you start climbing through the caves and everything where all these the Japanese soldiers were living in the ground like animals.
And then I started reading about other people that were on the island, of the defenders, and I became very curious about that side too, and found that there's a certain similarity in the attitudes of the young people whose lives were interrupted and put in the position of war.
What it means in history for Japan, I think it's important that everybody remember that people gave their lives to protect their country, whether they knew politically most of them were just young people who, on both sides, who didn't really know quite what was going on. They're just there, and it's one of those tragedies of life, because people in war are always the young people who risk their lives.
Ken Watanabe played the role of General Tadamichi Kurabayashi.
I'm thinking movie is Japanese movie. Japanese movie made by American Hollywood director. You know, it's just very special project. It's for both country. It's a completely different angle, so different point of view. It's but we try to present about both war feeling. You know, it's a very mokuteki. It's a purpose. This purpose is very important for both countries, right?
Eastwood was given special permission by the mayor of Tokyo to film on Iwo Jima.
I went and visited him first a few years ago when I was preparing with the idea of doing Flags of Our Fathers, and I was actually doing it with the idea that I would go and film on Iwo Jima, that particular film, and it would entail reinvading the whole island practically, because the invasion was huge. It was 880 ships and thousands of men. And I thought, since we could at least do part of it there, do something. But the mayor of Tokyo, the governor they call him, but it's under his jurisdiction, the island. And he said, yeah, it's very interesting, you know, but I could tell there was a slight reticence because they still have somewhere between 10 and 12,000 unaccounted for people that were buried into the ground there, that they think of the island as a memorial.
After the production concluded, Eastwood attended the Berlin Film Festival and faced the press.
Some critics accused you of having done the worst war propaganda since Tokyo Rose. What do you say to that?
I'd say they're idiots. I think, you know, probably that, I don't know who made a statement like that, probably somebody who hadn't seen the film, and that happens a lot. But the curious thing is, I was wondering what American veterans of the Battle of Iwo Jima would think of Letters from Iwo Jima, because most of them maybe had bad experience, or a lot of them probably had very bad experiences on that island, and whether they held any resentment or not.
Clint clearly enjoyed the challenge of making a foreign language movie.
If you learn something new, if you're doing subjects like we're talking about here that are different, cultures are different, you get a chance to visit all kinds of things. It's the ultimate Walter Mitty life.